All right, so I'm starting the recording of the meeting for the Preamble and How-To Guide Subcommittee. And the first order of business that we are reaching consensus on is we'd like to pull the How-To Guide and go a different approach. But I just wanted to get that on the recording.
Okay, let's get a let's first order of business. I nominate John Latta as the chair of this committee.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain. I'm elected chair.
You're out.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you,
Now
guys.
you're chair.
I'm honored. Honored.
And so,
and since I didn't have an agenda to begin with,
well, there's just a couple things. One is, for the record, we discussed in advance of this meeting the how-to administrative guide for using the charter, and we've reached consensus that that really is a different process. It might not even be a charter amendment. It might be working with the county manager to see what her desires are for some type of administrative guide, and noting that the elections office already has written a how-to guide for initiatives, referenda, and mini referenda that would probably be the bulk of what my interest was in a how-to guide. So at this point, we've decided as a subcommittee to pull that off the table and focus on the preamble.
okay. And
I'm in favor.
Chuck Green, did you volunteer to discuss that with the with the county manager?
Yes, I will take that responsibility offline.
Okay. And that responsibility now is not, this committee is not going to deal with it. That's just a conversation that Chuck is going to have as a commissioner with that outside of this committee, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now let's see if I can.
Okay.
I should be sharing the work plan.
Yes.
All right, so we can take this part out.
Okay, good.
All right, so this is what we really need. I guess this is really what we need to come to consensus on before the September commission meeting, is the work plan. And my concern, Terry, that I think I expressed in the email, was when I saw all these outreach and then listing all these groups, it was kind of feeling, well, is this getting overly broad? And I think your response to that was, no, your intent was to maybe have smaller discussions with stakeholders representing these groups, as that might affect the preamble, but you do not tend to have a broad community survey or open houses or anything like that before the November election. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So I think there were two things that we wanted to get out of this. One was to settle on, is this the work plan? Is this how we want to carry it forward? I think we can get rid of.
You can get rid of split the work. And then, you know, if you want to get rid of the community outreach, you can get rid of that, and I will just do that on my own, and which was what I had planned to do. It wasn't a broad outreach program. It's just that these are people that I had talked to about prior to you know, early on when I became a commissioner.
Well, maybe we'll change community. Well, we could leave community. I just threw in targeted so that people didn't think that we're just going to go start launching all these activities.
Okay, and then you can do me a favor and you can erase the groups and just leave it, we're under September. You can erase all those groups in case none of those groups, when I do reach out to, actual friends that are in those groups, if they're going, no, I'm not interested. So just leave that.
Yeah, and if we wanted to list the organizations that we wanted to contact, I think we should not just focus on,
I don't think that that's the point, Don.
one set of
I
group,
think the
one set
point
of people.
there is, that was a broad spectrum of people, but and I think that what Chuck's saying is we're not going to have a broad subcommittee group, that I am going to have a targeted, just
It might just be going and talking to Ed Rosales or the chair of, or, member of NAACP or some other group as to what
Yeah.
their thoughts are. I think the question that I would have if I were them is, what exactly is the preamble? I think we're probably going to be focused on as much of education on the charter, and then what is a preamble, as we are trying to elicit, well, what do they want out of a preamble? So
Okay,
probably,
add a cell there then, and get a add a cell at the bottom and put like FAQs. Establish FAQs and
well, we can, yeah, and that.
Well, this is good. I know I do agree that, we shouldn't be just doing this in a vacuum. However, that is my, I'll say, that's my comfort level is doing it in a vacuum, because we have preambles from charters all over the state, and we have, we have access to all that stuff. So I think a lot of it it depends on what kind of things do we want to say? What do we want the preamble to do? I mean, I suppose that's the question that we ask other people too, is what would you want the preamble to do?
I would like to say just that the charter, and I believe the charter, the original charter and this charter commission has always put a really high priority in community input. I mean, I know that we strive for it, and it's something that we actually strive for. So that's why I'm willing to do that. I have done a lot of outreach with all the people that the groups that you're there, and I've already kind of talked to them as I was running. So so I'm willing to do that, but it's not really what I kind of think about it different, John. That's not what I don't think that the charter and the decisions that I'm making and stuff like that, I try not to think about what we would want. I try to think about what community would want. So,
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I was just, explaining
okay.
why it's uncomfortable to me. That's
Oh, okay.
I'm willing to be uncomfortable for this.
Okay.
This is important.
Okay, thanks.
So this really is, I guess you could call it the mission statement for the charter, since it's already been adopted. Preamble usually, well, and that's the one thing that the freeholders didn't do with ours that others did with other charters, is they have that preamble introduction mission statement that went as part of the adoption. Ours is, since we already adopted the charter, it's trying to define for the future people who use this charter, is what is it meant to be? What is it meant to do?
So I think that, and I think, unfortunately, I kind of talked to Chuck a little bit before this started. I thank you very much for putting this together. So when I go and I look through these, I picked out like 3 that I thought were really kind of, for me, that I thought were well-written preambles that did exactly what Chuck asked. And so maybe that's a way to kind of approach it. I think that King County, for me, King County's preamble, Pierce County's, and Whatcom County preamble were the 3 preambles that I thought were well written, kind of. So I don't know how anybody else, maybe people can, and what I would like to see ours look like.
Well, I know I like Pierce also. The only thing that I wanted to do just for fun was to add the part about Clark County being the first county in Washington.
Are we the first county?
That's what, yeah, if you Google what the first county in Washington State, it comes up Clark County. We were the original county, I guess. I think it covered the whole state or slant territory. Well, when it was a state, it became a county. So it covered the whole state at first, and then they added more.
Okay, I'll think about that. That doesn't grab me, but
All right,
probably,
but it's fun. It's kind of
probably-
fun. It's a
probably
fun
would-
fact, you know.
I would probably word it like, the original county, of Washington, or I don't know if I was going to do something like that. But
Okay.
the
Just
thing
for
that I did really super like with King counties, if you could, yeah, oh, it's right there in front of you. Okay, when it talks about, I'm not really crazy to have the more just and orderly government. I think that there's a better way to describe good governance, instead of saying orderly government. But I do like that they clearly said that we are separating legislative and executive branches. We want to ensure responsibility and accountability and effective citizen participation, because those are the things that the charter, Chuck, you were there for the original charter. You know the reasons that we started it. And I think that that kind of represents. And then, I like that they have a little nice thing about to preserve, rural and urban environment and economy. I really like King counties as well as Pierce.
Well, I know you also were mentioning you like the intro to Whatcom counties because it doesn't start out "we the people," it starts out
Yeah,
almost a story.
right. And I like that story thing. If we could come up with, I haven't really sat and like put a lot of time in it, but I do like look at Watkins. It's like it's a little story about like how wonderful where we live. So even having that little bit in there, like treasuring the many wonders of our unique environment. I mean, and we could say like say something really about Clark County.
It
And
was the first county.
yeah, but
First and finest,
you
yeah.
know what? My husband would be right there. He's a real history nut. I'm not really. But so maybe we should like all identify like like the ones preambles that we like, and then maybe next time we meet we could have everybody can work on like, oh, this is how I'd word this is how I word that, or I don't know how you want to go about doing editing or putting something together. Of course I don't want to copy exactly what they put. I want these are great examples. Did anybody else have any other one that they thought was nice?
Well, I'm not a fan of editing by committee, so my thought would be let's talk about what are our interests in this. I was first looking at Clallam because it started out being kind of listing that there's as bullets, which is a little bit more punchy. Although our county isn't named after an Indian word, which is too bad.
It's named after a white guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Interloper,
white guy slaveholder or something like that. I
Yeah.
don't know what.
probably.
But I kind of like a blend of King and Whatcom, because Whatcom is a little bit more of a story feel to it. King really gets to the point. This is what it's all about, and
It
I'd
is.
like
Yeah.
to strengthen things where not only if enable effective citizen participation, but give citizens rights to initiative and referendum. Um,
Yeah. So if you guys, I mean, not that I'm a great, if you guys tell me what you like on that, I'm willing to put something together and then next time send it out. Next time we come back, we can go, okay, I don't like the way that's worded. Can you change that a little bit? Can you do this? But I agree with you 100%. I do like King's, they spell it out, and then having that nice story in the beginning as well, and I can, we can put, or we can break it down and just go, okay, come up with a sentence about a story, and then we'll share it on email, and then we'll have a meeting and we'll talk about it. Everybody can do that, or how, I just don't know how. I agree with you though, having something, something for us to meet next time, and just as we're doing right now, you can edit it and we can look at it in real time, and then we can go through it. Does that make sense?
I'm okay with that. As I say, my interest is to talk about a little bit about our. Um, I like to somehow work in our ties to a. We're trying to be an inclusive community, but
Right.
we've got a long history. We've got the Columbia River. I mean, we've got a lot of treasures here.
Oh,
Um,
that's
to
perfect.
start that out, and then talk about what is it that um, will be that this charter is doing. It could change a little bit in November, depending on
Guys, that was
if we
Jake.
have, yeah, if we get ethics and DEI approved by voters.
So, okay. So, sorry, my phone went off. So I like that you're doing that. And so I'm going to take some notes because I just saw some bullet points that I can put something together that you might like. You talked about treasures.
Yeah,
You talked about the initiative referendum process.
mhm.
Any other bullet points? And then you talked about having a nice story to, you're having a story, and one of that bullet points would be highlighting the treasures that we have and the beauty of Clark County. Um, and
And it's government by the people.
how,
If there's a way to add that in there, I think we
Yeah.
should. Maybe because that's in the title also, but of the charter,
yeah.
but
So,
that should be in there.
okay. So other bullet points so looking at these three ones that we've identified, or the King, Pierce, Watcom. Are there things in there that you like, bullet points that you want to make sure that is,
Well, I think Pierce County looks like it's a subset of King counties.
it does, right?
So I
Yeah.
don't suggest, let's just look between Whatcom
And
and
Pierce.
King.
Um, okay, but I kind of like, yeah, I, I kind of liked, yeah, they do. It does.
They say the same thing, establish separate legislative and executive branches,
Okay.
encourage citizen participation. Well, King says enable, while Pierce says encourage. So I think everything that you find in Pierce is already in King's in some way, shape, or form.
Okay. Okay. So, so something around that. Any other kind of,
And of those two, I like Pierce better because seems to be more to the point, short and sweet.
okay. Okay. I'll keep so I'll put that as a short and sweet. And
I think that's, I think that's pretty much all I can see or want. So,
can we talk about like how you want, because since we already have it adopted, but it is going to be on the top, having it say, like, how do hereby adopt this charter? Are we okay with having that?
well, actually, we've adopted it, so you could probably say that, reference that in 2014, the citizens of Clark County voted in this charter.
Yeah, I just don't want to make it too long. I don't want that to be too lengthy.
Well, instead of that, and I'm not even sure you need to say that we're adopting it. We just said, this is the charter of Clark County, Washington. Um, Like
Yeah,
we
we
the
could do that.
people of the United States, so it's just that this is the charter.
Yeah, it's already adopted. We've already adopted a charter, so maybe that is a little bit uh, not not necessary part of
Okay, maybe
it,
we could put something like, how Watkin has that. We
but
could
we
put
need to claim it.
we could put something like, this charter is the foundation of our government, or something like.
Yeah, so, something like
Yeah,
that, because that's
yeah.
what I tell people, is that it's really, this is the foundation structure of our government.
Okay,
Um,
so
Yeah.
we won't put anything about adopting charter, or this is our, but we'll just state that.
yeah, here
But
it is.
foundation is good.
Okay,
Yeah,
this charter is the, okay. Do you want to put anything like, this charter, a, you know,
yeah. We do need to
approved by.
reference the charter itself.
Okay, okay, perfect. So here's my bullet points right now. I have a story similar to what Watcom started out with, talking about, the treasures and the beauty and the Clark County's diverse and include diverse, and we can say diverse environment, because we really do. We live on rivers and we have mountains and we have, so I'll think about that a little bit and see how I can kind of pull in, like, that kind of one short sentence little story. And so I'll figure out how to put that, the initiative and referendum process in there. And,
Hmm.
um, okay, and short and sweet. Any other?
No, I don't have anything else.
Did you catch by the people?
I did. So
Yeah.
where do you want by the people? I saw that was the one thing in the other charters that I didn't particularly, there's a lot of we the people.
Maybe there's a better way to say it. If you think of a better way to say it, because I think it is important to keep it that it is the people running the government.
Right. I'll look at something like, you see under Watkins, where it says this region, governing this region is inherent in its people, we the citizens, and figure out kind of
Mhm.
advances,
Okay.
justice, and I think that gets the same point across,
I
right?
think it does. And if you don't want to say we the people, that way, and you want to say it a different way, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like Welcome seems to have done.
Well, I'll do a couple things and then you guys look at them. And because actually we don't have to have this by September 1st, right? We just have to
No, we
have
just need the work plan
the
and
work.
identify how we're going to work through the draft and vet it.
Okay.
So have we completed that work plan? I know we kind of skipped forward and I wasn't.
Yeah, let's go through that like
quick.
line by line. Establish meeting
Yeah.
schedules. So do you think we need to meet before? I think we can finish the work plan right now, so we're good until September, right?
I think Yeah, I think I
I
think we get rid of that first line because really what we're doing is the work plan now. Um, and we know it's going to be presented in September, so I don't think we need this first line.
Okay, I left it on every other work plan that I put together for my other committees.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
but
the main work plan already says to do this, so I mean, we can leave it on. I don't care, but I don't think we need to.
so do we need to establish what our meeting schedule is, and does that need to be part of the work,
Well,
the
it
output?
was part of the work plan. And then also in September
I would
1st,
change this to schedule and process, though.
Okay,
and then and then there's also in September 1st, the whole commission is going to tell us what they want changed in this work plan. So that's one of the reasons I have that, because that's the
Okay.
whole reason for the September is to present your work plan and have people give you input on what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing, right? So that would be changed in September.
yeah, yeah, it would be.
Would
So
we
that'd
change
be
in
part of the
September?
September, yeah, incorporate changes as needed.
Because it's
Uh,
September 1st that we're going to get
Yeah.
information from the commission.
Why don't we just say present work plan to full commission? Um,
Okay, perfect. And then throughout that
Yep.
month. Okay.
Hope if I can type. There we go.
Okay. And then drafting. I think that in September, right? If I'm gonna work on this and send it all out by emails and stuff like that, at our meeting, we should have a proposal, right? So drafting it during September, and then presenting that actual preamble to the commission in
Yeah,
October.
yeah,
Okay,
In
it's a
October.
draft.
Yeah.
It's draft. Really, I don't know if how this would go from proposal to amendment language other than the amendment language is the adopting resolution. So really we've
Yeah,
got,
however you want to put that. I just was following.
yeah, I'd almost suggest we, um, let's see, present,
Because we're drafting a proposal and then we have to draft an amendment. Well, yeah.
yeah, the amendment's gonna be easy in this case because we're not revising any other part of the charter. We're just gonna add a preamble, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
my,
but we have to do all that stuff that we did. We have to have, the explanatory statement and all that other business
no, yeah,
in the drafting that, but if I assuming that you were gonna have a drafting committee, right? And the drafting committee will, and then we present it to them. Because that's worked out really well. And we have people that are experienced at that now.
sure. The explanatory statement will be, we don't have a preamble now, and
Yeah.
and we
Okay.
want one.
Exactly. Oh, we can we can say something really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it'll take long to figure
No.
that out.
Yeah. So all of that's going to happen after the election, right? Drafting committee, first review.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So first draft. Drafting committee actually
Right, okay.
There, that gets it.
Okay, that's good, thanks. And then, yeah, FAQs is not gonna be much, but I put that there only because that's gonna be, FAQs will be needed to go on the, the charter review page before we disband and all that, on the county page and that kind of stuff, and that's something.
All right.
Does anybody want to add anything in the comments there that you think that the commission might want to see?
Oops. I unfortunately put that in the wrong cell or column.
Can you add their public process and finalize for county page, or, yeah, what do you call it when we put it up on the page? Oh, okay, that's good. Hey, Chuck, I have a question. I'll wait until after the meeting because it doesn't have anything to do with this subcommittee.
All right.
That looks good. Can you make sure that you email that out to me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And John, anything that you think should?
No, I think it's going to be, we just need to have a plan. It's going to be pretty simple, but getting the public outreach is probably going to be the part that takes some work. And I think we should ask. I agree. We should find out what other people think besides just us three.
Well, we are going to have a survey like we did before after the election, go out real quickly. So having that survey questions ready in October to for the county to put out like we did for all of our other in town halls and that kind of stuff. So that's continuing. That outreach is continuing as well.
Okay.
But I'm good. I'm good. And John, how do you feel about like presenting this? Like, if there's any questions about any of this, you want any input from us now while me and Chuck are here to, like, when you present this, like when you go through all these cells and then people ask questions, any?
I don't
Well,
know.
let me,
Every single.
I don't have any, I think I'll be fine with it. If I come up with questions between now and then, I will
Okay.
get your input.
Well,
I'll get your help.
when you do present, Chuck is there. And Chuck, did you want to go ahead and present on why you think that we're not going to be doing the how-to at the meeting? Why we decided not to do that, or do you want John to do that?
No, I can do it
Okay.
either way.
Yeah.
And then if you have any questions. Okay, wow, I think
That's a good point.
Yeah.
We need to tell them we did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I will email this out to both of you when we're done.
Okay, sounds good.
Did you want to talk about something else, Terry?
Well, after we're done with this meeting, I just had some questions about something else.
When do you want to schedule future?
Oh yeah, we got it.
Meetings.
So
This is we're the third Tuesday right now, and so if we think we just need one meeting a month, I was going to suggest the third Tuesday at 5 o'clock because this worked for me. But if it
I
needs
can't.
to be something different,
Tuesdays are ranked choice voting, 5 o'clock meetings. If you guys want to make a later meeting or an earlier meeting on Tuesday or something like that, I can do that, but I'm the chair of that committee, so.
every Tuesday? Is that every Tuesday?
It's every Tuesday until we get done. But the other thing is, I don't think that we're gonna have because, we don't have the how-to guide and all that things now. I don't think that we're gonna have to meet that much. If you just want to wait until after September 1st and then schedule, there's only 3 of us. We can
Yeah, I think that,
easily
yeah,
schedule.
it
Is that
could just be as needed.
right?
I think we're probably going to be just emailing drafts back and forth and settle on a draft pretty quickly.
That makes sense to me. Is that okay with everyone else?
Okay, I'll go along with that.
And the other reason I say that is the third Tuesday of September, I've been invited to present the charter amendments to Civics 102 Mature Learning class at Clark College.
Oh, cool.
Aw,
All right.
that's great.
That's all afternoon on the 21st.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That,
And
well,
I'm going to say that sounds like fun. I hope you think so too. It
are
does.
they
Oh,
having?
I'm hyped. I think this is going to be pretty cool because it's going to be more than just a boring. Here's some amendments that we put on. Here's 2 from the council. And are you have any questions? It's more of engaging as what do you feel about nonpartisan? How can we get people more engaged in popular elections, or what do people really think about the charter? Or how do we educate people on the charter? It really
Who's
gets them involved in
doing
more
that with you?
activism in government.
Yeah.
Who's doing that one with you?
It's just me. Um, it was invitation extended to me by
Okay.
somebody with League of Women Voters who's actually putting this class on.
Oh, cool.
It's part of an overall curriculum.
Oh, okay. The are they going to be having? I would be really ready for that to be virtual.
What?
Is it going to be? I would be ready for that to go virtual, just in case, just because.
Oh, the class?
Yeah.
The classes right now, they're saying it's going to be a hybrid. If you're there in person, masks are going to be required.
I would. I'm just telling you. I follow the hospital numbers and stuff. Labor Day and the week after Labor Day is the top of our surge. But I'm just telling you, be ready for it to be all.
Yeah, I'll take
All
their lead.
Everybody.
I wouldn't mind if it's going virtual because it's that Columbia Tech Center campus, which for me is a hike.
Oh,
That's 40 minutes away from me.
wow. Do you know, I think that the presentation, I know we're getting off subject. I'm sorry, John. But the presentation actually flows really well virtual. I think it was a really good job. And so
Yeah,
yeah, I had great success with it.
I'm gonna stop recording.
Okay, sounds good. Are we done? Are you adjourning, John?
Yeah, I move